I'd like to welcome all of you here tonight and ask our Pastor Nate Kingsley if he would come and bring us the invocation. Thank you for being here tonight.
You're welcome. And may I say thank you, Council, Mayor, for what you did. Father, I thank you that all authority ultimately comes from you, and thank you for those that you have invested that in and delegated that to. I thank you for our council and our mayor, service workers, policemen, others who work for the good of our city. And I want them to be successful in the decisions they make to promote peace, prosperity, and security for our citizens. We thank you for the opportunity to do that. Give them grace tonight to know how to make decisions and to step into this role with new council members and things. Yes, you give them wisdom to do what is good and right for our city. We ask this in the name of Jesus. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Nate. We do always hold our invocation prior to the beginning of the meeting. So we'll wait a couple more minutes, giving people time to get here before 7. Are you coming to the dinner Friday night?
My wife, because I can't hear her, I'm going to. I forgot to tell you.
Oh, that's okay. Sorry, I forgot to ask last meeting. I'm gonna ask what you
So that's, you're here for that.
That's what I feel like.
Well, by the clock on the wall, it is 7 o'clock, so I will bring our meeting to order and ask you all to join me in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Who's behind you still?
I'm backwards. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Shirley, would you take roll call, please?
Mayor Hammond?
Here.
Gary Lambert?
Here.
Mike Connell?
Here.
Bob Porter?
Here.
Misty Ladle? Here. Jacob Puffer? Amy Gallaby? Here. Jacob Sampson.
Looking for approval of our agenda for tonight.
I move that the agenda be adopted as printed.
Sorry.
We have a motion from Mindy, seconded by Bob. All those in favor of that motion, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. Motion passes. Looking now for approval of our council meeting minutes of November 21st.
I move that we suspend the rules.
Wait,
Oh,
I'm
sorry.
sorry, today's November 21st.
That's true.
November 5th.
I'm sorry, that's the wrong date there.
So we'll fix that.
November
7th. November 7th.
Yep. Yes.
I am sorry, guys.
It's right in the minute.
I'll
You
start
have it
again.
right in the minute.
So let me say again, looking for council meeting minutes of November 7th to be approved.
I move that we suspend the rules, waive the reading, and approve the minutes from November 7th, 2024's regular meeting.
Second.
We have a motion from Misty, seconded by Larry. All those in favor of that motion, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. Motion passes. I don't believe we have any pre-approved reports or presentations tonight unless I'm missing someone. I think we're good. So we'll move into public comment. Is there anyone here tonight that would like to come forward for public comment? Little tiny girl in the pink sweater.
No, Nate wants to.
Nate, come right ahead.
If this is old news, forgive me. My wife and I were talking about the election recently, and we didn't know who to vote, we didn't know who was running for council, didn't know any of the names, and is there a way that perhaps persons running for local offices could put their picture and a couple of sentences about them, maybe on the city website or something, so people can know who this is? I don't know if that's a legal thing.
Yeah,
or-
we'll have to check, yeah.
Yep, I would check with the county clerk and find out if that was acceptable or not.
Okay,
So,
cool.
yep.
Thank you, Nate, for bringing that
No, but
up.
I understand, I get that.
I'm just making a note. Okay. Moving on to communications, Shirley, do you have some of those?
So I handed out, thank you, a revision to the Michigan Municipal League's policy, and I can explain that when we get to that agenda item. It's just the last one. And something that Megan took up for Sue, so I'm not really quite sure what that is. She gave it to me last second.
Yeah.
And so I did hand that out to you guys, and that's it.
That's it.
Yep.
This thing that Shirley handed out to all of you that looks like this.
Yeah.
This came in the email from the Michigan Municipal League, which, as you all know, the city is a member of. And this is regarding the revenue sharing trust fund that is being formed to collect the revenue sharing money before it's paid out to all municipalities. So they're asking for each city to support a new House bill, it's number 4274, 4275, regarding the process for that revenue sharing trust fund. And so we have copied and pasted their letter onto our letterhead, and with council's approval, would go ahead and sign this and send it in showing our support. If you're comfortable with taking a few minutes and reading that tonight and approving it, we can do it that way. If you prefer to take it and read it and come back to the next meeting, they wanted it before that date. And I don't have a copy of the email with me, but it seems to me they wanted this before our next meeting, like maybe December 3rd or something. So if you could take a few minutes and just read through this. I did have Megan call and talk to people at the Michigan Municipal League. They say it would change the way the revenue is distributed, but it doesn't affect the amounts, it doesn't affect the way it's actually paid to the municipality. It's just that the Michigan Municipal League is pursuing this because it's after budget has already been approved. And they would like to make sure the municipalities know about this change. Putting this in place would make it harder for the state to reduce the amount distributed via sale tax, which is what revenue sharing is. Because we were concerned that it might make it easier to reduce it, but it doesn't. It does the opposite of that. And that's per Megan's phone call to them today.
So when they talked to Megan, did they say that this, so this revenue sharing trust fund is already in place, or is this new?
The trust fund part of it is new,
That's the new part.
right? It says in this flyer, making the case, let me just read the portion of it. While Michigan communities have faced capacity restraints, revenue loss, and stagnant growth, all but one state has outpaced us in growth, so we're doing well. Providing a secure and stable funding source through the revenue sharing trust fund does more than just make sure municipalities can balance their books. It's an investment that helps maintain the infrastructure that keeps our economy running, provides the jobs that keeps our communities safe and secure, and creates opportunities to foster great places that attract and retain talent. They do mention that with so many local governments reducing their number of employees, that sometimes the process was slower than it should have been, because we get this money like every 2 months based on what the previous 2 months sales were. And sometimes those were going out late because there were fewer employees to process it. They feel that putting this trust fund in place, it would be more automated and would be less chance of it being sent late or incorrectly, is my understanding. Everybody had a chance to read all that? So if you are in favor of sending this letter of support, I would appreciate just a motion that indicates that. If there's discussion that you'd like to take place first, feel free to do that.
Make a motion that we move forward in supporting the revenue sharing fund put forth by the MML of Michigan.
Do I have a second, Misty? So we have a motion from Larry, seconded by Misty. All those in favor of that motion, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. Motion passes. Thank you very much. Sorry for the short notice. I think Megan brought that to their attention today when she talked to them on the phone. So we appreciate that. Okay, so surely that's all of our communications.
Yes.
That's all of our mayor reports, so we'll move into any committee reports. Hearing none, we'll move on then to presentation and approval of the bills.
I move that we approve the bills as presented and that the payment be authorized.
Second.
We have a motion by Mike, seconded by Bob. All those in favor of that motion, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, nay. Motion passes. I will just mention, since we're at the bills part, that the DPW did take delivery of their Vector truck.
Oh, nice.
It's beautiful. It is absolutely gorgeous, isn't it? It's like the color blue of Missy's shirt. And they all had training on it today, and Megan took their picture out in the street, learning all about their truck. They were so excited. So and they actually used it. They helped train them on it by using it at 2 places where they had to use some pipes. So they were excited. So it seems to be okay. Moving then on to old business, I see none. The new business, number 1, we're actually not going to have because the auditors were not ready. And Megan didn't learn that until yesterday.
Wednesday.
Yeah,
Mhm.
so,
Yep, so they'll be here on, maybe in person, the next meeting.
yeah,
Not
so
on December 1st.
we'll move this forward to the first meeting of December
Fifth.
5th, I think it is, yeah. So we will go into new business number 2, which is new council takes oath of office. Shirley.
Okay. We want to all stand up? Is that what we want to do? Okay. Molly, you want to come up? Is Kristen here? No? I didn't see Kristen.
I didn't see Kristen. Kristen, are you here?
I don't see
Are you
her.
back
Here somewhere? Sure.
She probably thought she would.
What?
At the next meeting. Maybe.
You said next time.
She got the letter, like, I got a letter, Larry Carter got a letter. Hi, I'm Bob Porter, it's good to see you. Dr. Gazi. How do you say your name? I'm sorry?
Gazi.
Kamal
What do
Gazi.
you want us to?
Kamal?
Like caramel without the
Carl,
R.
oh, okay, Kamal. Kamal.
Let's introduce everybody
Yes.
just to make
Somebody come
sure
over there.
they all
Sure.
know each other.
All right, Bob Porter, Larry Lambert, Kamal Ghazi. How's that?
Great.
Okay.
Sorry, something.
I'll stand right here, okay?
Musical chairs.
Great.
Okay.
Okay. Raise your right hand. I do solemnly swear
I do
solemnly
solemnly
I
swear
will support the Constitution of the United States of
The
America,
Constitution of the United States of America.
the Constitution of the State of Michigan,
Constitution of the State of Michigan.
the Charter and ordinances
The Charter and ordinances
of the City of Perry,
of the City of Perry.
and that I will faithfully perform the duties
And that I will faithfully perform the duties
as elected council member
as elected council member
according to the best of my ability,
According to the
according to
best
the
of
best
my
of my
ability.
ability.
so help me God.
So help me God.
Do you want to come over here?
Yeah, you guys stay put.
Yeah,
Stay
go
put.
ahead.
Stay right there, you guys, for photo ops.
Right where I was.
Gentlemen, raise their hand like they're raising.
You're fine. I already did them.
Very good. Well, thank you very much.
Thank
Yes. that's what I was gonna do.
Do extra speak because I kept doing it when so I said their mouths are going to be open and they're being upset.
Well, then that'll be how it should be.
I'll try not to go so fast. I know I like minute sense. Okay. I do solemnly swear
I do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution
that I will support the
of the
Constitution
United States
of the United States of America,
the Constitution of the State of
the
Michigan,
Constitution of the State of Michigan,
the Charter and ordinances
the Charter and
of the
ordinances
City of
of
Perry,
the City of Perry,
and that I will faithfully perform the duties
and that I will faithfully perform the duties
as elected mayor
as elected mayor
according to the best of my ability,
according to the best of my ability,
so help me God.
so help me God.
I can't find your pictures. You're not done.
Just one call. Right there.
There we go. Perfect, okay. Thank you, Mindy.
Thank you, Mindy.
I think Shirley will have a whole bunch of stuff to give you, Kamal,
I can't wait.
and she will go over all that. with you.
Yes.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
We have a planning commission resignation that Shirley is going to read. Are you reading it?
Sure.
Okay.
This is from November 6th. Mayor Stu Hammond, it is with considerable thought in this matter, I am turning in my resignation for my position on the planning commission, effective as soon as you get a replacement, but I think it's probably
It'd be effective
immediately.
today.
So that's from Dave Cleaves. So he has resigned.
So we have an opening on the planning commission, and that planning commission meets monthly. It's not a as-needed kind of meeting like so many of our committees are. It is a monthly meeting, and it does review, maybe you could help me out. What do you do on the planning commission, Larry?
One of the key things is we spend a lot of time as a planning commission developing a draft of the master plan that ultimately has been approved. Anytime there is any resident that wants to consider a zoning change within the city of Perry, those come forward to the planning commission for review and hopefully approval. If there's any new businesses that are coming in that require new construction or development of a site plan, those will ultimately flow to the planning commission for review and approval of site plans. Some examples in recent time have been the KFC facility, the Beaners, Big B coffee spot, among others that came forward for review and approval.
And we do, by charter, we're allowed to have 2 council members on the planning commission. We have 1, Larry's on it. Bob used to be.
I used to be.
Who else? Oh, Steve Wallace, when he was on council, he also was on planning commission. So that's just something you could think about.
Yeah.
No pressure,
No,
you
you
don't
don't.
have to,
When
but
do they meet?
they meet the,
Third
Monday.
First Monday?
First Monday
in
at
the
7.
evening.
Of every
7 PM?
Correct.
Okay.
That's when I got involved first,
Uh-huh.
and it really gets you involved in the city, and then I decided to run for council.
Okay.
So, it really gets, it does help you understand a lot of the little nuances of the city.
Absolutely.
So you can think about that. If that's something you'd be interested in, just let Shirley know, or let me know, either way is fine.
Absolutely will do.
So I'm looking now for a motion to accept the resignation from Dave Cleaves.
I move that we accept the resignation of Dave Cleaves from the planning commission and thank him for his time served.
Second.
A motion from Larry, seconded by Mike. All those in favor of that motion, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. Motion passes. Moving then on to our next agenda item, it's our personnel policy amendment. We've made some changes recently in our invocation policy. And as we were looking at those, we realized that we needed to make a little bit more of a change. And the reason that we really need to change it is because the majority of meetings, there's nobody here to give the invocation. And that's,
Are we skipping?
I'm sorry, I thought that was what you had.
Skip this one.
Personnel.
Oh, I'm sorry, I was reading around. Well, let's back up. But let's go back to personnel policy and then we'll go to the invocation. I'm sorry. Are you going to present the,
I can present it.
it's concerning the insurance?
So yes, concerning health insurance. So we just sat down and made a few tweaks to the health insurance policy, adding that the city does not provide secondary health insurance to a spouse or dependent if they are covered under another health insurance plan. So that would be like, for instance, you know, just say you had city health insurance and your wife was covered by her work health insurance, then we would not provide health insurance for her. Or if your dependents had insurance from her or whatever, so you would be, it's not saying if they don't have insurance, they are more than welcome to still be on their plan, but it's if you have, so you're not double insured, basically.
Yeah, and support dual coverage.
Yes. Yes. And then employees that are required to have Medicare coverage may have a secondary insurance from the city while employed. So we have one employee that does receive Medicare, so he's still receiving our health plan. So basically just a few little tweaks there. And then in item number 3, we're just changing the hospitalization to just the word health. It's a health insurance program. Do you want me to read that whole thing, or?
I don't think we need
Okay.
to, everybody's got a copy of it. Just recognize that yellow is new,
And
red stripe
red
through
stripe, yep, red stripe through
is eliminated.
So,
Yeah. So if you want to take a few minutes to review that, and when you're ready, then there is a need for a motion regarding that approval.
Do you want us to read the whole thing when we make the motion, or just not have the date?
Yep, the whole
Okay.
thing.
Is this applying to a labor contract, or is that a separate?
So when you read in here that will, so the motion is gonna say that this includes employees that are covered by the master contract, which is negotiated by the recent or recognized union or labor group, with the understanding that the policy will be effective November 22nd.
So it does
Yes,
apply
it does
to
apply.
employees covered by union.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
Does anyone else have any questions?
Any further discussion, questions? Okay, looking for a motion.
I move that we approve the following amendment to the personnel policy for the city of Perry. This includes employees that are covered by a master contract, which is negotiated and recognized with a recognized union or labor group, and with the understanding this policy will be effective November 22nd, 2024.
Second?
Yes, just read the rest of it.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
It's okay. Okay, insurance. The city offers health insurance for full-time employees and dependents after 90 calendar days from the date of hire. Upon termination, voluntary or involuntary, your health benefits end the last day of employment. Employees should contact the city clerk for more information on COBRA, if applicable, upon termination or leave of absence. The city does not provide insurance for domestic partners. 2, the city does not provide secondary health coverage to a spouse or dependent if they are covered under another health insurance plan. 3, employees required to have Medicare coverage may have secondary insurance from the city while employed. 4, full-time employees who are eligible for health insurance may receive up to $2,400 annually at the rate of $200 per month if they elect not to be covered by the employee's health insurance program. Employees electing the payment must be covered by health insurance from another source to be eligible and must sign an employer waiver form. Employees are subject to the open enrollment periods designated by the employer's current health insurance carrier.
Second. I guess Larry already seconded it.
Who's my second?
Give it to Larry.
Larry. Okay.
I'm free tourism.
We have a motion from Mike, seconded by Larry. All those in favor of that motion, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. Motion passes. Thank you. Okay, now we'll move on, and I apologize again for jumping ahead. It's a good thing you guys keep me in order. Revisions to the policy. This is simply a policy regarding opening invocations before the meetings of the Perry City Council. As you can see, it was very long. The revision makes it shorter and makes it, I think, more straightforward. So I would like to read to you the recommended revision to this policy. 1, in the event any scheduled invocation speaker is absent, the invocation will not be held. Number 2, although the invocation may be listed in the program or the schedule of events, it shall not be considered an agenda item for the meeting or part of the public business. Number 3, no member or employee of the council or any other person in attendance at the meeting shall be required to participate in any prayer that's offered and such decisions shall have no impact on the ability of the person to actively participate in the business of the council. It then jumps forward to number 4, which is on the last page. No invocation speaker shall receive compensation for his or her service. Number 5, no guidelines or limitations shall be issued regarding an invocation's content, except that the council shall request by the language of this policy that no invocation should proselytize or advance any faith or disparage the religious faith or non-religious views of others. Number 6, the invocation shall be administered before each council meeting as follows. A, shortly before the opening gavel that officially begins the meeting and the agenda business of the public, the presiding officer of the council shall introduce the invocation speaker. B, in the event any scheduled invocation speaker is absent, the invocation will not be held. So those are the recommended changes to the policy regarding the opening invocations. And is there any discussion regarding those changes? Looking for a motion then to approve this amendment.
I move that we amend the invocation policy as read.
Second.
A motion from Misty, seconded by Mike. All those in favor of that motion, please signify by saying aye.
Manipulating those rules.
She just read exactly what we would have been reading.
I'm sorry, that was Misty and Blitz. I didn't hear the second person, you caught me off guard too.
Did you get it?
Who was the seconding?
Mike.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, now we're down to number 6. Is that right? Is that where we are?
Yes.
This is to approve and adopt the zoning amendment number 398 regarding animals in residential and agricultural districts. We did have our first reading at the last meeting, and I think do we have some
Yeah, we have some
changes to that? Do you want
Just
to
a
go
few
through
tweaks.
those? Ordinance Committee Chairperson?
I certainly can. There were a couple of things that were brought forward, just to clarify that the pen size was at one point stated to be a maximum of 50 square feet. That has been amended to be 56 square feet of the maximum size for the pen. The second one that was brought to our attention is that we talked about the coop must be locked at night. We're revising that. The coop must be latched at night, just to ensure that predators can't make their way in. And the third one is that the fact that we had talked about in the ordinance that food and water needed to be available to the chickens at all times, but then the next statement it said uneaten food must be removed. We're going to change that from uneaten food must be reviewed to uneaten waste or scrap products must be removed, just to clarify that we don't have a redundant statement. I believe those were the changes that have been brought to my attention since we had the reading last time.
I'm sorry, Larry, will you say that again? Uneaten food must,
Uneaten
food or
Waste.
scrap waste.
scrap food must be removed in a timely manner. Right now it says uneaten food must be removed, and a prior statement says feed and water must be available at all times. So a little bit of contradiction there, if you will.
It was explained to us that chickens do eat most things, but there are some things they leave behind, so that's what we're saying, the waste needs to be removed in a timely manner.
And the coop must be latched but not locked.
Correct.
Okay.
Any other comments, questions? I move that zoning ordinance amendment number 398, section 3.30, animals in residential and agricultural districts, which was read at the November 7, 2024 regular council meeting, be adopted with implementation 30 days after date of publication.
Second with the amendments.
And I think we wanted to add, did you say effective in 30 days?
30 days after state of publication.
Yes.
That is at the end of this ordinance that we did. the
Okay.
whole thing, yeah.
So we just
it is
need
on
to
there,
make
yeah.
sure it says with amendments. We have a motion from Larry, seconded by Bob. All those in favor of that motion, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. Motion passes. Thank you to the ordinance committee for all your hard work in regard to that ordinance. We have another ordinance that now needs to be approved and adopted, if that's your pleasure, and that's in regard to the fire code. We had first reading of that last meeting, and Fire Chief Trent Atkins was here and answered questions, but is there any discussion regarding that? If not, then I'm looking for a motion to approve and adopt that.
I move that ordinance amendment number 399, comma 1610.01 International Fire Code, 1610.02 amendments, 1610.03 conflicts of laws, and 1410.11 building code, which was read at the November 7th, 2024 regular meeting, be adopted.
We have a motion from Bob, seconded by Mindy. All those in favor of that motion, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. Motion passes. That took a long time to get done. When Trent first contacted me about that, it was July.
Yeah, it was a while ago.
But it was a lot of back and forth between our city attorney and him and Zeus's attorney, and so it took a while, but I think now it's all set and satisfied everything that needed to be done. So thank you for that. Appreciate all your hard work there. Number 8 on our agenda is MML insurance renewal revision. Do you want to talk about that, Shirley, or?
So I think at the last meeting on November 7th, Kyle said that his car was gonna be arriving any day, and it came on the 14th. So,
I thought I saw a new cruiser sitting
yeah,
up there.
so his car came on the 14th, so I added that to the insurance, which increased, well, and I just need to, I guess, go through the whole thing. So then, little did we know that the Vector truck was gonna come yesterday, or the day before, and so I was scrambling to try to get that added and get that on here. But when I spoke to Diane, our insurance executive, she told me that she added the Vector truck effective now, so it's covered sitting here till December 1st. It's also added for the next policy term with no additional charge.
Okay.
So they're just gracing us the insurance on that for the year. So I thought that was really nice. So basically, it's going to be an increase of $657 to the premium for that police vehicle, and the new policy term amount would be $45,082. You guys approved $44,425. And I hope that I did my addition right. Yeah, $657. So, I mean, did it need to come before you? I'm not sure, but I just thought that you should at least know and probably approve it again, so.
That's an annual, right? That was usually.
Mhm. Yep, and this is due November 1st, so I will probably, cut
November 1st?
December 1st.
Okay.
So I will cut the check tomorrow and mail it, so it gets there in plenty of time, so.
Any discussion on that from council? Looking for a motion then to approve the increase.
I move that we approve the additional amount of $657 required to renew the city's insurance policy with MML with the addition of the new police vehicle which arrived on November 14th, 2024. The total premium of the term will be $45,082. We authorize this, the clerk to proceed with the payment.
Second.
I have a motion from Mike, seconded by Bob. All those in favor of that motion, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, nay. Motion passes. Do we have any other business to come before council at this time? Do we have any public comment? Come, Chris. I don't.
Good evening.
Good evening.
I just wanted to come up and publicly say, to thank this council for the efforts of both the committee, any committee I'm not met, please extend my thanks to them as well. I originally came in here after being ticketed by the city for having chickens. And I admit, I came in here planning on a fight. Planned on a fight. I didn't find one. I found cooperation. I found people that listen, and I appreciate that. I just want to say that publicly. For all those people that do this crazy election cycle are telling me about how the mayor doesn't want this, how they're just gonna string it along, and they're gonna shoot it down, just don't even try. Everybody came in here saying, I want emotional support chickens. No wonder you said no. No one came in and just said, can we change it? Can we talk about it? Thank you again. And on behalf of myself, my wife Zoe, my family, close and extended, along with, of course, Darth Vader, Princess Leia, Han Solo, Chewbacca, and Hannah. They thank you as well.
Thank you, Chris.
Thank you,
We appreciate your help with it,
Yeah,
too.
very nice.
And Roy's help with it, too. We appreciate all the information you guys gave us.
Yes.
Yes, it was very
Very
helpful. When someone comes in with an issue they'd like council to address and has recommendations for making it work for everybody, it just makes it go so much better, so much easier. So thank you for that. Thank you for your cooperation and
Absolutely.
help as
And
well.
I'm still coming to meetings,
Good,
Hey, good.
so I'm still coming.
yeah.
I don't promise you'll always like me.
Again, I apologize. Any other public comment? Any council discussions or observations you'd like to make? Comments? We have our new council member coming on board December 1st. Jacob did tell us he couldn't be here for the meeting tonight. He had to be out of town for work. So we thanked him last meeting for his service, and we look forward to you joining us at the next meeting, Kamal.
Me too.
Congratulations on your election.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
And to Bob and to Larry for all you've done and will continue to do. Any agenda items we want to let Shirley know about? Oh, and Misty. Yes, because this is your last, no. This will be your last meeting.
I can't promise I'll come to all the meetings. I have so many at work already.
Well, Misty, we truly appreciate you stepping in when we needed you emergently to fill that empty chair, and you've done a wonderful job.
Well, thank you. It's eye-opening, I appreciate it.
Well, thank you.
This is
Any agenda items that we need
I have
for
a few
next time?
things.
You have a few things?
Yeah, please don't ask me to remember them.
Oh, okay.
But they're upstairs written down.
Okay, all right. Anything anybody else has got for Shirley to make note of? No? If not, then at 7:43, our meeting's adjourned. Thank you all for being